everybody beautiful. Make some noise real quick. Now I know what you're thinking. It's like 80 degrees and this nigga wearing a jacket, but you know, I look good though. I look good though. All right, y'all. I'm here with Mike Check. I got my team with me, and we about to do some motherfucking poetry. So make sure you weave in good. Make sure your butt's on the seat because we going hard. All right, y'all.
Buckle in, buckle in.
New shit.
New shit.
Shit's new. Oh shit, Sophie, this is live. Oh shit. Hey yo. I remember sitting across the table from your future fiance as she told me about the time that you locked the doors on her and drove her all the way to your place and snuck her into your mother's house because you were, one, too tired to take her back to your place, or two, too tired to take her back to her car. I remember how she said she hated you, how she didn't want to see you again. I remember how we sat at that table at Freebirds as she told me about the time that you asked her to drive all the way to San Marcos because you, and as you call it, your roommate, or as we would call it, your mother, were going to move in, and y'all went to Target, but you conveniently left your wallet at home, so you asked her to pay for everything. I remember how she called you a boy, how she called you selfish, how the happiest abuse stories always come with two rings. The wedding and the suffering. But I guess this is poetry and we just can't kick abusers out of a safe space. So what I mean to say is, to the girls I never spooned, I wrote you a poem where I imagined you obedient, submissive, where now you owe me for my kindness of making you immortal. I mean, being a straight white cis male in poetry means that the ink run dries after the first chapbook unless you find somebody to protest your love quiz. If a woman in your slam scene says that the happy poet is sexually harassing her, do you help or wait for his next victim? So happy poet, after you found your next pixie pop princess to dart through, how long will it take you to rewrite the poem until she happened to you? The perfect date looks like stargazing in a telescope with a big blanket, country air. I remember you telling me how you were gonna take your future wife there, whisk her off her feet, and read her a poem and everything would be perfect. I remember how we sat in her living room and she told me the story of how you happened, how you took her to a field and you asked her a question and there was silence. A poem for happy poets that fall in love. A poem for a happy poet that fell in love with a girl just to find his next chapbook. A poem for the happy poets that say shit like girls only listen to poetry just to hear their names in it. I sat in the corner of a snake den and thought myself safe. I didn't know and I'm not sure if I wanted to. The story goes, once upon a time that there was a boy that wanted nothing more than love. And now that's all, now the only thing that's left is all the people that he left behind. You never liked being called a poet in the first place. I guess you're just a magician whose best trick is on stage. Things I've learned from being a slam poet. Apparently nothing. Nothing at all. How y'all feeling? Y'all good? Y'all ready for the next one? You're right though. Why do we keep letting abusers into poetry though? That's weird. That's weird. The carefree in my smile is not free. Tonight I will write for freedom. See, when I was a boy, I could not focus. The story goes that when I was in art class, I painted a pony purple. My teacher thought this odd, told my mother I need a therapist. Therapist said, his mind, it wanders, we must rein it in. This was the first time I tried Adderall. It was the first time I was told to change myself, and I did. Enter in football player. Enter in the choir kid. Enter in black boy hiding book bags, hiding Twilight books in his book bags in high school. The day that those fell out of my bags before football practice was the day I learned how to feel shame. Y'all, it took me too long to feel comfortable in this skin. Funny story, the first time I was called nigger, I wasn't actually called nigger. It was just a look in her father's eyes whenever we shook hands. That was the first time I ever wished myself white. It was the last time I ever wished myself white, y'all. I've been changing in this body for too damn long, so call me ditto, call me rain on a sunny day, call me September showers and summer love. This body and this smile has been scrubbed clean just so it can be seen in the dark. I learned shame the same way I learned survival, like evolution, like laughing at the funniest black joke, like pulling the short straw, like I've been displaying this pain for the beautifully broken for so long. So this is a search warrant for our smiles, for when the jeans don't fit and you aren't good enough, when they don't get it and you are tired of explaining it. I've been changing for so long and this body still looks foreign, and this is for trying to find a genius in a pen cap, for forgiveness in beautiful people and friends, and we all still have things we must answer to, all of us, for the self-doubt and the venom in our voices, for talking about ourselves, for the scar, whether accidentally or not, for thinking that we even deserved it in the first place, from dismissing ourselves from the table, for the padded white rooms that I locked myself inside of my mind's eye. Have you ever noticed the bruises on the dancer's toes and ever thought about the pain involved with making something beautiful? It's often worth the risk, y'all. There is love to be had here. Most of it from inside of ourselves. And I know it's hard, and I know that it's hard, but it's there. Our souls shine like courage, sing with the falsetto of an empty room, with so much love that whenever we wake up from this bad dream, it won't hurt, but it'll feel like hope. So much hope. Thank you. Everybody give it up for my teammates. Now you, give it up for Ashburn!
This is the awkward part of the scene where I interrupt and we pass around this tip jar so we can tie the offering into the poet so they can make it all the way back to where they came from and then come back and see us, okay? Alright? You have merch, right?
Yeah. So we have a handful of merch over at the table. I got 2 books, and we also have Mic Check t-shirts. Mic Check t-shirts sales go into the Get Our Asses to Southern Fried Fund, and book sales go to I'm Very Broke and I'd Like a Few Dollars Fund.
Yeah! How much are your books?
1 book is 10, 1 is 15. $10! Only $10!
You can't afford not to buy it!
It's my favorite thing that we do. How much are the shirts, Lena? How much are the shirts? That doesn't mean anything. What is 15? The shirts are 15.
$15! You can't afford not to buy it!
15. Okay.
Let's go, Ash.
The summer I turned 20, I cut off all my hair. Got wicked drunk and took shots at the stars. I kissed a girl for the first time. I didn't fall in love, but I tried to. It was the summer where 3 people died, where tragedy was never more than 2 weeks away from itself. First, it was Mary's brother, then Allison's fiance, then my father. 1, 2, 3, the men in our lives gone in a heartbeat. Too much death under one roof, too much emptiness for the Texas sun to lay claim to. We dug up parts of ourselves we could never put back in the ground that summer. We learned that sometimes people wear grief too differently to hold one another, that nobody knows what to say because condolences don't pry nails out of coffins, that tombstones are not grave markers for the dead, but stone slabs the living carry on our shoulders. We learned the aftermath of grief is unique as a fingerprint, Allison's was brave, Mary's was quiet, and mine was furious. I wasn't done with him yet. There were too many battles left unfinished. This was not how I wanted to end the war. Grief looks ugly in the mouth of a child still relearning how to love their father. It is a useless extra limb on the body of someone with 10 years bad blood to make up for when you know your father is little more than sickness in a skin suit. There is nowhere for the rage to go when you've lost him. I didn't speak at the funeral because I didn't trust myself to be kind, and much as I wanted to be angry at my father, his memory didn't deserve that. My mother didn't deserve that. See, there is this impossible love that children carry, even for the parents that hurt them. And I remember what he was like before the pain and the medication got the best of him, and I just wanted to be good enough for that man. To everyone who knew me when my father was alive, to my mother especially, I am sorry for the rage I hung my shoulders with. I am sorry for becoming all the worst parts of him. I am sorry that I went looking for a place to bury all that heartache and that I became graveyard instead. But the one who taught me loud, the one who taught me chaos and thunder and boom, was Dad. I learned well. I didn't have my dad's excuse, how the sickness wore my father's face for him, shook my home down to its foundations, and then left when there was nothing left to lay waste to. I just kicked and screamed and rattled, hoping that someone would listen. But I'm quiet now. Dad is quiet now.
Yes!
And sometimes I still miss the way his voice could fill the house.
Come on, Ash!
It's Pride Month, and and this next poem might not sound like a queer poem, but all my poems are queer poems if you fucking listen to them.
Good stuff.
Your dead husband stands above the fireplace with a rifle he made himself, saying, "Darling, I built this ghost story, but you gotta live in it." It is 1866, and the Winchester rifle is the best thing to happen to warfare and the worst thing to happen to Sarah Winchester, but she won't know it until she's spinning a house into a catacomb resting place for all those dead soldiers come to take their pound of flesh from the Winchester name. And ain't it just like a woman, paying for the sins of the man she fell in love with, digging out of his grave with her own 2 hands. So she moves out west, builds a house, and never stops building, and it's all yellow and stairs and doors to nowhere. She's trying to outrun the ghosts her husband left for her, but she was never any good at running. So she runs stairs straight up into a redwood ceiling, climbs out one window and in through another one, hopes all that haunting will get lost in here. When my boyfriend stacks his depression on top of me, I order 13 new rooms to hold the ghosts of his anger in, pack a little more scaffolding into my skeleton, and build this brick and mortar of a body bigger. Sarah commissions the most beautiful stained glass window and hangs it in a place where no light comes in. In this way, we understand one another. It is 2016, and the ghosts of my boyfriend's ex-girlfriends won't stop crawling into bed with us.
Come on!
Every mistake he's ever made comes to roost in my rafters, and my whole framework buckles. He's never made a rifle, but he makes a damn good whiskey sour. I mean, gin and tonic. I mean, Bloody Mary. I mean, another beer, another beer, another beer, another night driving drunk to make me wonder just whose ghost I'm saving all this space for. I see the death of our relationship written on every wall. It starts with the word woman, ends when he no longer sees me as even human, but I build anyway, paint over it, reach out for him even when he is dead man walking, reach out for him even when he stops reaching back, starts rolling me onto my stomach so he won't have to look at me, fucks like a grave robber come to burn my crypt of a cunt to the ground. woman without asking. Brands girl into my skin like I am fresh off the production line. Doesn't care for what's beyond my body so long as he can be buried inside of it. Takes his pound of flesh. 100 years later, and the Winchester Mansion becomes a profiteering tourist destination, but Sarah is still the only person to have ever stepped through the front door. 100 years later, and my boyfriend mounts an old Winchester rifle in the place where his heart is supposed to be and tells me to build for him, build for his broken, his bloody, his dead. But Sarah, this is our house.
Yes.
It's full of other people's ghosts. And ain't it just like a woman to take a haunting and make a home?
Hey Houston, how you doing?
Good.
First, I want to start off by saying sorry about the Rockets. I wore my Hardens in solidarity. Get them next year, guys. I believe in you. I have 2 poems for you guys. I'm going to get out of your way. I want to clear the air for myself first. It feels weird to get on the stage and not meet you guys with the honesty of what I'm dealing with today. There was an active shooter on my little sister's high school campus today. Everybody's safe for the most part, but that's just what's on my heart. I'm not having the easiest time being what I would typically be on the stage, and I kind of wanted to get up here and pretend like it was going to be okay, but I think it's doing wrong by y'all, my audience, because this is a trust thing we're doing here. So that's just where I'm at. And it gets sadder, so here we go. Sorry, I guess. Love of mine, someday you will die, and I'll be close behind. I followed you into the dark. I don't remember a lot about my grandmother. Just smiles, laughter, her purple blouse, and of course, her name, Yolanda. I have turned her into a bundle of lavender. I keep her at the foot of my bed. I toss and I turn, and we do not share space well, and most mornings I wake up early enough to put her back together before leaving for the day, and I am most certain that if I grow something with her name in mind, she can never die. I am confident in my abilities to carry dead weight. It is as simple as staring out the driver's side window, and here lie the violets after which she was named, and here lie the roses she once brought me, and here lie our fingers covered in sticky rice, and every so often there is a ringing in the silence. And this is where I have buried her, where only I can see. This is where she has become a part of me, because I know that grief comes in the most peculiar of places, the most simplest being hands, fingertips, so we can point out the pain or let it go. But you can find me on the Gold Coast, walking in the sand, because I know that Galveston looks so damn ugly in the daylight, but in the nighttime, the ocean sounds just like her name, so you can find me on the Gulf Coast, carving her name into the sand, and still it turns purple. You can find me wading into the water, because I know that water is supposed to bring us life, and I have been trying to unbury you while burying myself at the same time. You can find me walking the Gulf Coast, because that's where I found you, and that's where I'm trying to let you go, because I know that if your ghost is with me, that it can't be in heaven. So one more thing before you go. My last memory of you. standing at the bottom of the stairwell of my mother's home, laughing before you walked up to your room. Had I known you weren't coming back, maybe I would have stopped you. Had I known you were going home, perhaps I would have been close behind. Yeah, we're Mic Check Poetry. One thing you might not know is that we were like born, and then Juan was like born. Amir Safi, as you all may be familiar with, started this lovely organization. And 10 years ago, he also founded Mic Check as a nonprofit in College Station. So yeah, there's a lot of like connection you guys may not know about. If you guys are ever free on a Sunday night at 8:30 p.m., we're in downtown Bryan at Revolution Cafe and Bar. You can find us online at Mic Check Poetry on Twitter and Instagram. Just Mic Check Poetry on Facebook. Yeah, come check us out. We're going to SoFried, so I know you guys don't want us to beat the team you guys are sending to SoFried, but if some of you do, that'd be cool.
Beat us!
Yeah. Oh yeah, both of the teams. Damn it, you guys just monopolizing the market here, I see. Jeez.
Hey, don't check the score of the game on your phone.
Don't check the score. Actually, the last poem is not a poem. It's just me telling you guys that LeBron James threw an alley-oop dunk to himself in the NBA Finals.
Again, this is the second game in a row. Down by 6.
It doesn't matter. In my heart, he's up by 12.
Because that's how math works.
But yeah, thanks for having us, y'all. Please, if you guys want to support us further, there's a tip jar over there. We have t-shirts for sale. Ash has books that are for sale, and they're phenomenal. I've read them. Yeah, so here's my last poem. Won't they bury our crowns before we ever see gold? Won't they put bullets in our bellies before they ever put bread by our feet?
Come on.
Won't they grab us by our wrists before our hands? Lead us to the tombstone before the water, the river before the bridge, the flood before the way home? Won't they always close their palms as they deny us of our fists, deny us the space to walk as they beg us for our boots, rob us of our breath and demand we sit still, ask for forgiveness with their heels at our throats? I have seen the beast when it feels cornered, how it points at our teeth as it sharpens its fangs. I have been called canine by a creature on all fours. I have been called savage by a drooling beast. I know what a shark can do when it tastes the blood. And won't they drink from our veins as if the cup runneth over, as if it is a ritual of sorts, as if it is a godly thing to make someone bleed? But you and I know the truth, that before anything there was darkness, and then God asked darkness to open its eyes.
Come on!
And God said it was good. And aren't we the first good thing?
Yeah!
Aren't we made of nothing but hope?
Yeah!
When they take, our breath, we still breathe.
Amen.
When they take our breath, we still breathe. We still remember where they buried our crowns. We still remember the way to the river. We're still alive, so we must keep going. We still have our fists. We still have our wrists. We still know the way through the water. We still know the way back home. And we will never forget. Thanks, y'all.
Ain't you glad you stayed for the feature? Ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of the evening. So I appreciate you all for sticking around. We will be right back here next week. Doors open at 7:15, list goes up at 7:30. We would ask that you clean up the area around you. We try to leave the space better than we found it, right? Okay? We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for coming out.
Show me question, I'm not really sure if you've been checking. I'm progressing, I just heard my songs is popping out in Macedonia and even Serbia. I don't mean to burden you. If you got a man assistant, I understand. Last thing I wanna do is get you jammed, especially if he's a fan. He probably never wanna hear my shit again. And I need every single sound scan. But if you're single and you down, then I'm in your town feeding for another round. I was counting down the days, been more patient than a brown saying, where that chip at? Probably on your shoulder, cause I forgot to hit back. Let you on red, apologies are said, I often never meant, well fuck that I repent.